What's good? John Granger here, man. How y'all doing, family? Well, I'm sitting here in front of my 1968 Fairlane, and as you can see, I'm breaking it down. I got the whole front cap off now. Believe it or not, though, this is actually not a video about cars, but as you can see, I got the whole front cap off, man. I got a whole lot of it on the ground over there, man. I'm doing a lot. I got a lot of blasting, man. A lot of sand blasting. As you can see, a lot of mess on the ground. I got a lot of sand blasting I got to do. I got a lot of other stuff I got to finish up. But you know, this is a project that I do. It's a project of love. It's a labor of love. But I was sitting upright, and I was thinking, man, while I was breaking this car down, that, you know, it's a hell of an analogy to life. And it's kind of two parts. One, it's kind of funny how you can meet some people in life and they can break down the monotony. They can break down the garbage. They can break down the problems, pains, and issues in our lives. And if you follow the principal concepts, just like in your church, maybe in your lodge, in your mosque, in your faith group, in your family, in your friendships, in a lot of ways, there are a lot of people and rules and ordinances, laws, tenets, and everything else that that if you listen, it can break down a lot of the monotony, and the pain in your life, and it can help you build yourself back up. It can help you build yourself back up better. It's kind of the mantra of the military, you know, breaking down the individual, building up a soldier. You know, prison does that too. Prison breaks you down. It just doesn't build you back up. You know, henceforth the word Department of Corrections, but it's supposed to break you and rebuild it, but they really just break you. But I was thinking, as I was sitting here, man, I'm working on my car, man, this is a really, you know, intensive labor of love. But I was sitting back thinking, it's somewhat of a lost art. You know, I don't have too many people, man, that sit back and they get out here and they don't do this with me. So, you know, a lot of times I sit here and I'm the only one that's out here, and I'm out here wrenching, I'm out here breaking down. Hey, calm down. So I'm out here, hey, calm down. So I'm out here, you know, doing this, and I don't have any, to be honest with you, friends or associates who do what I do. I don't think it's really a lot of their passions. Now, I do know a lot of guys with classic cars, but the vast majority of them, they buy them. You know, not saying anything's wrong with that, but it's just a passion, man, to build this thing up, man, starting with just raw rust and metal and mess, you know what I mean? And then build a masterpiece, you know, really put my hands on it, put my touch on it, you know, to know everything up under the idea, to really know I can get on the highway and move and groove and go anywhere I want to go, because I've really put in the time and attention to detail to make sure that this thing is comfortable, safe, effective, and efficient. So it goes to say that, man, I'm a builder, you dig? And a lot of people back in the days used to be builders. A lot of men used to be builders, man. A lot of men built their homes, you know. And when I mean back in the days, I don't mean hundreds of years ago. I mean, you can go back to the 40s, you know, to the 50s. And in Mississippi, really up to the 60s and the 70s, and maybe up until today. But in poor states, men were builders, man. They used what they had to get what they want. They built their homes. They farmed. Which I have a garden. They garden. They tilled. They grew their own food. They raised their own livestock. They got their own chicken, poultry, eggs. Some of them had lakes. They grew their own fishes. Men were builders, man. They really were. And you got to look at the way that they treated people and treated family too, because, you know, idealistically, I would love to be able to build a lodge. And I'm a Mason, for those of y'all that don't know. I would love to be able to build a Masonic lodge right in the middle of my neighborhood, man, to service my neighborhood. To be able to build up the youth, the young adults, the brothers, the women, the family, bring a sense of community and worth back to the neighborhood. But I need like-minded men that don't mind getting out here and grinding, man, going hard and get dirty. And, you know, without excuse, you know, oh, I had to work, I was tired, I was this, I was that. Man, I be all that too. But, you know, Anyway, I'm sitting back now and I'm looking at how families are broken now, how friendships don't last, how people got this quote unquote strong fallback game, you know? And I'm just wondering, man, I was wondering where it all came from. And then I stopped and I thought about something. And I thought about the fact that people really aren't builders the way they used to be. You know, now it's a world of instant gratification. You know, give it to me now, I want it now, let me get it now. And if a person doesn't get what they want, need, like, lust, or are looking for from you almost instantaneously, and if it doesn't come consistently, you know, in other words, if there's a problem, an issue, a pain, if anything happens to where your relationship is vexed or touched or tested in any way, people will walk away from you, man. Again, people say they have quote unquote, you know, strong fallback game. But that comes from the fact that we no longer require a sense of community to survive. We used to have community to survive. You know, used to have potlucks where, you know, Mr. John would bring some chicken and Miss Janie would bring some potatoes, and, you know, I ain't got to go home with the names, but, you know, different people would bring onions and collard greens and macaroni, and somebody would bring a little meal and make some bread, and somebody make some tea, because, you know what, that was all they had, man. People didn't have a lot, you know, and what they did have, they were smart enough to understand that coming together helped them to conserve what they did have. Henceforth, a sense of community. You know, it used to be where when you acted up, man, going down the street, man, the people down the street could beat your butt, man. I'm talking about beat you senseless, and then walk you back home and tell your parents or your grandparents or your parent or whatever, or your guardian, that you was down there clowning and they had to get you. And then that parent or guardian or grandparents, you get it, they was going to whoop you because you got a whooping down the street and you disrespected the house. You know, you used to go to school and you got in trouble, the teacher could pop you and then take you to the principal, and the principal could paddle you. And then they call the parent, if they had to get off their job, oh my God, you already knew what time it was, you did. And then when you got home, you got it. And then you might have got it from the neighbor down the street because you had to get it in school. Well, sitting back, man, thinking about all that, you know, it really just has me vexed and perplexed, like, why people don't understand the value of community. Well, again, instant gratification. I'm on a cell phone right now and I'm communicating with millions of people across the world that I don't know, and they can see the video. I don't really need to write letters. I don't really need to go down the street to communicate with nobody. You know, you ever sit back and wonder why, you know, people are so solemn now? You ever go somewhere to order food or whatever else, or waiting on a plane or waiting on a train, you see everybody looking down, facing a phone. Nobody's communicating. No sense of community. Communicate. Community. You know what I mean? Nobody is talking to one another. Nobody's, hey, how you doing? I'm Jay. Hey, I'm Chris. I'm Mark. I'm Shonda. I'm such. Where are you from? What do you do? What do you like? What are you into? Hey, you know, boom, you looking for a job? I know who's hiring. I'm doing this. They're doing that. Well, it doesn't really go that way anymore because the sense of community, man, has dissolved because instant gratification, and we don't feel the need to, you know, commune anymore and come together and eat together and potluck and fellowship, and we're not building. You know, we're not building our own businesses anymore. The majority of people work for other businesses. They work for warehouses. They work for factories. They work for Fortune 500 companies. They work for these mega corporations. They work for these manufacturers. They work for distribution agents. The majority of people aren't building anymore. So, you know, there's no sense of self-empowerment. There's no pride in ownership because now we're not building anymore, you know, and when you don't have that anymore, you don't have that same sense of community. So now people aren't building the way they used to build, so they don't feel the way they used to feel. You know, if I'm not building, then you have to understand that is a, I guess you could say that's a chain reaction because I don't need my neighbor now. You know, when we were building, we used to have to go get our neighbor because we needed help. We couldn't put up, you know, joists. You know, you couldn't put a whole house up all by yourself. You needed help. You had to get somebody. You know, when you had to till that field, you needed help. You know, when you was out there building businesses and working on cars and things like that, pulling motors and engines and transmissions, you needed help. And so, I guess I can say in the process of getting help, you communicated, you talked, and you found common ground, and you laughed, and you made friendships, and you made bonds. We're not building businesses with our significant others. We're not building anything in our homes. We're not creating things. We're not taking the time to find out if the people around us are built the same way that we're built, if they have the desire to want to build or destroy. You know, you get with people, and then, you know, they seem like they're all good at first, and then they don't want to clean up. They don't want to cook. They don't want to, you know, go to the store. They don't want to pay bills on time. They don't want to manage the credit properly. They don't want to wash the car. They don't want to, you know, some of y'all women got men that ain't gonna change oil, tires, brakes, headlights, wipers, and it vexes the shizzle out of you, because this is what you got to deal with. Because your man's not a fixer. He's not a builder. He's not a doer. And some of y'all men, you out here working your black butts off, and white butts, and orange and green, pink and purple too. But you coming home and there's no food cooked, and your stress is not being relieved, and your dreams are not being met with means, and you don't have anyone that's helping you to take your vision and then add in provision to help you to bring that into fruition, because your woman isn't a builder. She's not building a home. She's not building the man. She's not building into you. Well, I guess the point of the video was to try to get back to a sense of community, try to get back to a sense of building, and try to find people that are like-minded like you, who are builders, who want to build relationships, who want to build homes, who want to build businesses, who want to build cars, who want to build friendships, who want to build love, who want to build. If you can find somebody who builds, then there's a good chance that they might not destroy you. Peace.